Just been removing some bricks that needed changing, and I have discovered in there it's one of the slit windows that's been bricked up, and I can't really get in there to show you with the camera, but the wall, you might be able to see there on that side, is done in the original penny roll pointing. See if you can get in there. You can just make it out, but that's been bricked up many years, but it's been done with a cement mortar that's like iron, so it took some getting out, and we'll replace it, we'll put it back obviously, but yeah, very interesting. Anyway, today we've got a load of it chopped out on this side now, ready for pointing, which probably do a bit of that tomorrow, providing it's not thunder and lightning as forecast. There we go, a nice little bit. And there's Chris observing. there enjoying the drumming. Did Chris enjoy the carnival?
Yeah.
That's good, that's good. Nice viewing platform up here, 80 foot up in the air. Very nice. Although I admit it's the first time I've watched it from height like this. There you go, hope you enjoyed that. Something different. Well, repointing this clock is more difficult than I imagined, trying to get behind everything. However, we're getting there slowly. And Chris has got a best part of a metre on there this morning, which is good. And as usual, once it's set in, we'll do the old churning brush and the cherishing sheets. But I want to try and get this panel done so we can spray the clock before it starts to rust, because it is just bare cast iron at the minute. Well, the rain has finally stopped. Managed to get a bit done. Still got to do the churning brush bit as yet on it, but the clock there is what I did on Saturday after the old Saturday Club Day procession where we stood at the top and watched it. What I'm trying to achieve is all of this panel here, or this section of the bell tower, completely done pointing wise before I think about spraying the clock, because I don't want to be dropping lime onto it when it's been sprayed black. I know it'll wash off, but you know, I'd rather not. Yeah, so spray the clock black, get the hands back on, say gilded. Well, one of them is anyway. I've got the other one to do, which I may do this evening. It just depends how tired I am. One of the problems that I have is the cherishing sheets blowing off in the wind, and it's okay tacking them at the top with some clout nails, that's fine, but it's the joints. Anyway, I've got an idea. What I was thinking was a darning needle and some string and stitch them together so it's one big sheet. I think that'll work. We shall see, won't we? But this wind is relentless. It's terrible. It's been like this now for 2-3 weeks, just wind and rain. This is a prime example of why you shouldn't use cement mortar pointing on old soft bricks. I mean, look how they're eroding away. And you look at the cement mortar, it's still solid. It's too hard. And the rain's coming down, eroding away the brick. Oh. Because of this. So don't do it. It's very bad. People think that doing a nice strong cement mortar mix will last for years. Well, it will, but the bricks won't. They think it'll waterproof the building. No, it won't. It'll trap water in. It's totally the wrong product. I mean, it gets worse as you go down this one. I'm going to have to change a lot of bricks in this piece, which isn't good. So that's your cement pointing for you. That's what it does. Do it with lime. It was built with lime, point it with lime. There's a big section removed. All cleaned off now. And you see the black. You get it, traces of it, sometimes on the joints. You can see here and there, there's bits of black on it. And that will be from when we all had coal fires to heat our homes. It's basically soot that's gone in through open joints or cracks in joints over many years. Now I found bits of the pointing, or bits of the original mortar shall we say, underneath some of the cement pointing that is actually black. and the mortar itself is this colour, but it's got that black soot on top of it, so you could just picture this church, you know, back in like the 1930s or whatever, and everything was black with soot. Terrible stuff is coal, but it's lovely sitting in front of a roaring coal fire, as I well know in winter. So I suppose you could say I'm a hypocrite, but then you can't beat a coal fire. Right, so I've taken all those out, and I've still got some more, just a couple that need to come out there, but I don't want to take those out until I've got that lot down there back in, because we don't want to scare the vicar. It's a very big hole in his church. It's safe enough, to be honest. It's good and solid. That's a good solid buttress, so it can't go anywhere. I'm more than happy that it's safe. I wouldn't do it if it wasn't. Right, we're going to leave that for today, because it's getting on now. It's about 4:30. It's cold, it's windy, and I'm wet. As you can see there, the rope is swinging about like a hangman's noose, ready for the last job late on a Friday evening. Right, we'll see you tomorrow, which will be Tuesday. I've got to get all that up there, and I'm on my own today. Lovely. Right, it's back together again. Now the reason I haven't pointed these in yet is because all this is going to get pointed as well, and it'll be done with a different mortar. It'll be done with the LM35. So I'll rake them out and then point it up in a bit with the rest of it. And there you go. That's nice and strong again now. But if you look, you can see this is kind of proud slightly of that one and so on. But it's right with these, you know. So I've got to be careful because there's a lot of erosion on these. So they're set back a bit. But I don't want to set these back to that because it will throw the corner out here and so on. There we go. Done. Back together. Depending on how it all dries, I might put some brick tone on just to, or brick tint, should I say, just to darken them up a bit. Right, I'll crack on. Well, that's all the brick placement finished on this buttress now. Not changing anymore. Got a few to change in a panel round here. Very windy today. I've got those ones there, that's the next challenge, and then I can continue on the pointing on here. Well, it started off bad this morning and it's got better, thank goodness. Quick peep in there again just before we break it up. And that's the old slit window covered up again. Like I said, probably put a little bit of brick tone on these. Well, I keep calling it brick tone, it's not brick tone, it's brick tint. Just turn a bit more orangey, because these are sort of sticking out like a sore thumb at the minute. But they're the correct brick, so, you know, what can I do? Gilding of the clock hands. This one's been treated with a paint stripper, got all the paint off it, and what I've done now is I've given it a bit of a clean up, but I've also given it a quick coat of gold acrylic. What's going to happen next is once that's dried, it gets a coat of that, which is an oil based adhesive for the gilding, and this is the gold leaf that we shall be applying. We've got two hands to do. Not an easy task. Okay, so the acrylic is now dried in. So what we're doing now, we're applying the adhesive, which is what I showed you earlier. And you don't put loads on. It doesn't need to be really, really thick. Because if you put it on too thick, what I've found is that as it dries, it shrinks. And it makes all the gold leaf go wrinkly and horrible. So you make sure that you get it on nice and thin. Just keep working it in. But make sure that you cover every little piece, every speck that you want that gold leaf to stick to. Just keep going over and over and over. And what we do, we leave this stuff for about 90 minutes. So it's gone tacky. Once it's gone tacky, we can then start applying the gold leaf. Now this is a fake gold leaf that we're putting on. It's known as Dutch gold, which is a lot cheaper than doing it with real gold leaf. So if it was pure gold leaf, we'd be talking about probably doing 50 quid's worth or something, I don't know, on each hand. So it's a bit expensive then, that does. But I'll show you in a moment or two the other hand, which is now done. I'm just waiting lacquering, because I'm not going to film doing both of them, because it's the same process obviously for both. You see, working that stuff in, don't pile it up. And because the gold leaf itself is really, really thin, it's going to show any little imperfections on the on the metalwork itself. That's one of the reasons that I give it a coat of acrylic first, to try and fill out some of the little imperfections. Right, well that's all coated up now. So we'll come back in a little while when I start doing the gilding. And you can see how that's done. Like I said, I'm not perfect at it, but we do try. A long, slow process. And there we go. I don't do gilding for a living. I only said I'd have a go at doing these because one or two were asking about it. So that's that hand now done. A lot shinier than if it was paint. It's got that lovely gold colour as well. Bit of a messy job. Got bits of gold everywhere. And there we go. Better. That is the two hands now gilded. They look so much better than they did when they were covered in that flaky gold effect paint. They look lovely and shiny when they go back on that clock, they will. I mean, they're far from perfect. You know, they are over 100 years old. These were first put together in 1899. They've been stood outside ever since, so, you know, we've got dinks and nicks and all sorts in them. But we've got them shiny, and they look great from the ground, they will, reflecting in the sun. That's if you ever get any sun. Right, that's the bit that I took down the other day. It's now back together again and pointed. Now somebody said to me that was I a comedian because what I'd done was an absolute mess. Now I don't think that's a mess. You know, we've taken it down because the bricks were completely eroded away, and we've changed it for new bricks, and we've line pointed it. Knocked it back with a churning brush because that's the specification that we've been asked to do. And I don't think it's a mess. If you think it's a mess, please let me know in the comments. Right, I'm going to go and get some dinner on that note because I am absolutely famished. Right, I've got more bricks up. Another bucket of mortar. It's a bit like a comedy sketch on here this morning. I mean, we've got signs out and cones out and things, you know, footpath closed. I've put the van right across the footpath because I'm hauling bricks to the top of the pulleys. And they've got a communion or something or other on this morning. Every Tuesday morning they do it. So the people, instead of them taking heed of the signs and the warnings, are squeezing past and walking underwear and pulling bricks up. And then I put cones over a cable to stop anybody tripping over the cable, and a blind man with a white stick has just tripped over the cone. What can I do? Well, there you go. It's a funny old morning this morning. Right, let's get back to laying some bricks. This is a prime example of why you shouldn't use cement mortar pointing on old soft brick.
우리의 향기